I'd like to talk about an initiative coming out of China recently, which was basically a 24-point plan that was developed by the State Council. Uh, and the idea was basically to stimulate um, more economic activity. Let me provide a little bit of context. So I think the way to think about the US-China relationship in terms of economics today are three different levels. One level is government to government. And I think the US has been particularly aggressive vis-a-vis China, and China is responding accordingly. The second dimension is business to business, which I've always thought was probably the most productive avenue for discussion and ultimately action on both sides. The reality is the people in business in the US want access to the Chinese market. Those who have been in the Chinese market for many years totally understand that China is a different country in terms of how you learn to interact with it. The third level, which is people to people, and all I would say here is that I've met so many Americans who say, when I meet Chinese people, I love who they are and what they stand for and their values and their culture. So when I think about the future of China and US relations, the sector that I'm most optimistic about is business to business. Because the American companies successful in China understand how you have to do business there, and the Chinese feel the same way. So let's go back to what the State Council has put forward. From my point of view, we need to take these seriously for a number of very different reasons. What I found was very encouraging is that initiatives that were listed by China were very specific. And therefore, there ought to be many opportunities for US companies who are active in the spaces that were called out by China to be able to say, we would like to participate in that arena. Like China says, we want to grow a bond market. Then you're talking about very specific companies in the US who have developed those skills. But I think it's a great opportunity because, as I said at the beginning, the people in the US who understand China the best are those who are involved in business in China over time. So I'm very optimistic going forward that that opportunity is going to happen. The need is great on both sides. And frankly, if you look at the US economy, our most recent read in terms of quarterly growth is that it's stagnating at relatively low levels and inflation is still quite high. So both sides need to make this work. Uh, I'm optimistic that if both sides come at it from the point of view of win-win and what it's going to take, that the outcome will be, in fact, a win-win. But it's going to take compromises on both sides.